Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear learners and viewers and respectable guardians, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also well. At first, I would like to introduce myself with you. This is Muhammad Nurul Islam, Assistant Teacher English, Mohanganj Pilot Government High School, Mohanganj Netrakoda. Before starting class, I would like to give my heartfelt thanks and express my gratitude to Mr. Mutahar Hussain, the Honorable Headmaster of the institution, who has taken an initiative to arrange online class. And at the same time, I would like to give thanks to the person who have toiled much to open the page. So my dear learners, it's a long time. We have not seen you for a long time because we all know that Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear learners, viewers and respectable teachers, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also well. Welcome to Mohanganj Pilot Government High School online class. Before starting class, I would like to introduce myself with you. This is Muhammad Nurul Islam, Assistant Teacher English, Mohanganj Pilot Government High School, Mohanganj Netrakoda. Before starting class, I would like to give my heartfelt thanks and express my gratitude to Mr. Mutahar Hussain, the Honorable Headmaster of this institution, who has taken an initiative to arrange online class. I am also giving thanks to the persons who have toiled much to open the page for the benefit of the learners of Mohanganj Pilot Government High School. My dear learners, it's a long time we have not seen you because we all know that the world pandemic, coronavirus, has already infected the whole world. Bangladesh is also severely infected with it. That's why the government of Bangladesh has taken a decision to remain closed all the educational institution, and at the same time the government has directed to arrange online class in different institutions. And as a part of it, Mohanganj Pilot Government High School has also opened a page, and so that the page has been opened to continue the education of the learners. And I think if the learners will participate in the class, and they will be benefited more. My dear learners, without wasting time, let's get started. Perhaps you have already seen a routine, and according to the routine, I have a class on English second paper of class 7, and during the class, I think you will join with me and stay connected, and you will get prepared yourself by taking your khata, pens and other necessary books. You can also share the class with your friends and make comments. Okay. Today, I would like to take a class on the use of the right form of verbs. At first, I would like to take down the topic on the whiteboard, and at the same time, you will also take down the writings that I am going to write on the blackboard. Okay? Get prepared, my dear students. The name of the topic is the use of the right form of verbs. The use of the right form of verbs. Have you written the topic? The use of the right form of verbs. Okay? I think you have written the topic on your exercise board. To understand the topic properly and comprehensively, you should have a common idea about the things. That is, without knowing the things, you cannot understand the topic very clearly. These are the things that is very needed to understand the topics. You have to know about verbs. You will also have to know about the form of verbs. Forms of verbs. You have to know about tense. You will also have to know about infinitive. You have to know about gerund. Have you written? I would like to whip out the blackboard. Okay? I would like to clear the blackboard. If you write down the name of the topic, I need to clear the whiteboard. Okay? Infinitive. Gerund. You will also have to know participle. You will also have to know the rules of changing sentence. Basically, affirmative to negative. Okay, my dear student, let's go to the topic one by one. Okay, my dear learners, we know that verb is one of the most important words in English language, because without verb we cannot make any sentence. That's why verb is called the living word in English language. My dear students, I would like to clarify it by writing on the whiteboard the word verb. Please write down. The word verb is originated. The word verb is originated from a Latin word, verba, which means action. Okay? Have you written the term verbum? The word verb is originated from a Latin word, verba. Okay? Verba means action. So, we can define verb in this way. A verb is a word by which a subject or an object does the function. But it is not enough for the definition of a verb because without doing the action, a verb can be used in a sentence. Because if we say that verb is a word of action, that's fine. But there is something more. If I say that Bangladesh is a beautiful country. Bangladesh is a beautiful country. Here the verb is does not doing any function. Here the verb is does not do any function. Okay? But I would like to give another example to you. Please write down the example on your exercise book. If I say I have a motorbike. I have a motorbike. Here, have is a verb. But the word have does not do any function. It means possession. So, we can define the verb in this way. Please write down the definition. A verb is a word. A verb is a word that denotes. A verb is a word that denotes being, having, or doing something. Okay, my dear students, a verb is a word that denotes being, having, or doing something. I think you have got the idea about the definition of a verb. Let us now know the kinds of verbs. That is, the kinds of verbs. You know that there are two types of verbs. Verb is of two types, basically. Finite verb, and the other is non-finite verb. Finite verb and the other is non-finite verb. But there are other verbs also used in English language. So, for example, positive verb, cognate verb, petitive verb, okay, reflexive verb. But since you are the students of class 7, you have to have the clear idea about finite verb, non-finite verbs. Okay? I think you have written down the kinds of verbs on your exercise book. Let us know what is finite verb. What is finite verb? Finite verbs. I would like to write down once again finite verbs. The verb that is followed by tense, number, and person is called finite verbs. My dear learners, I would like to mention here that in your question paper, you will get a question of question number 6, where you can get the question the instruction of the question like this. The instruction of the question like this. Question number 6. Read the passage and read the passage and write the answers of the following verbs used in the brackets. That is, the verb will be given in the brackets in a wrong form. That is, you have to correct it. So in order to correct the verb, you have to know about the following verbs. So earlier I have told you about finite verb. Finite verb is followed by tense, number and person. Okay? Finite verb is of two types, and this verb is very important for you. One is principal verb, and the other is auxiliary verb. Auxiliary or helping verb. Auxiliary or helping verb. Okay? So let us know what is principal verb or main verb. Principal verb is such kind of verb that does the action independently. Okay? That is, the principal verb does not depend on any other verbs. Say for example, if I say he plays football. He plays football. He plays football. Here, the word play is the main verb, because the main verb is actually play, but the sentence is present indefinite tense, subject is third person, and the number is singular number. Okay, that's why S has been added with the main verb play. That's why I have told you earlier that finite verb is followed by tense, number and person. I think you have got the clear idea about finite verbs. Now I would like to take down on auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb. Okay? In other words, we can refer it as helping verb. Auxiliary verb depends on finite verbs. Okay? If I ask you, can you tell me something about auxiliary verb? Can you tell me, my dear learners? Thank you. But in order to answer the question number 6 about the use of the right form verbs, I would like to clarify it. Auxiliary verb means helping verb. It helps the main verb actually. He is playing football. Okay? Here is an auxiliary verb and play is the main verb. Since the sentence is present continuous tense, so ing has been added with the main verb play. So auxiliary verb helps the main verb to form tense. Okay? There are different types of auxiliary verbs. You can see like this: primary auxiliary. Please write down the things that I have written on the whiteboard. Primary auxiliary. Okay. Primary auxiliary means to be bulbs. To be bulbs. Can you tell me what are the to be verbs used in English language? Okay. To be verbs means am, is, are, was, were. Am, is, are, was, were, been, being. Okay. To be verb am, is, are, was, were, been, being. In your question paper, you might have a question about the use of P verbs. Okay. To have verbs. To have verbs. Have, has, had. Okay. At first you will take down the verbs and then I will use the verbs in a sentence. And have, has, had, to do verbs, to do verbs. That is do, did, does. Do, this, do, did, does. Have you written down? Okay. My dear learners, I have written about the primary auxiliary verbs in the whiteboard. I think you have written it on your exercise book. My dear learners, I am now writing about modal auxiliary. Modal auxiliary. Modal auxiliary. Earlier I have told you auxiliary verb is of two types, primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary. Let us know what are the modal auxiliary. Do you know what is modal verbs? Mode. Mode means the wish of the verb, the wish of the doing of the verb. Okay? Modal auxiliary means the subject does the function of a sentence in a mode, and the modal auxiliary verbs can help the subject to express its mode. Let us know what are the modal auxiliaries. Can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might, used to, ought to, need, dear. Okay? Modal auxiliary verbs are can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might, used to, ought to, need, dear. Okay? Have you written down? Thank you very much. I think you have got the clear idea about modal auxiliaries. Now, we will know about some other form of the verbs. Say for example, infinitive, gerund, participle. Infinitive, gerund and participle. For my dear learners, I would like to before going to the discuss about infinitive, gerund and participle, I would like to give an example about the primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary verbs. Okay? He is a good boy. He is a good boy. Can you tell me what kind of verb is used here? Here the verb is primary auxiliary, and is can also be used as main verb or principal verbs. We can see like this. I would like to write now about have verbs. So for example, I have a pen. Okay. The verb have has been used here as to have verbs. Let us now give an example about modal auxiliaries. He can do the sum. Can. He may come to night. He may come tonight. May I come means he may come tonight. Okay. We ought to love our country. Or so these are the examples of modal auxiliary verbs. My dear students, can you tell me something more about modal auxiliary verbs? Okay, I will clarify it to you. After modal verbs, the main verb will be present form. Okay, and we never use or we never add s, es or is with the modal verbs. Okay, so there is a rule for answering the question about the use of the right form verbs. If you get can, could, shall, should or any other modal verbs before the bracket, before the words used in the brackets, then you will write down the base form, that is the present form. Okay. So, my dear learners, let us know about other form of the verbs, that is infinitive. Infinitive. What is infinitive? Infinitive is one kind of verb. Earlier I have told you verb is of two types, finite and non-finite verbs. The another name of non-finite verb is infinitive. If I cite an example, then it will be clear to you. He is going to school to attend the class. To attend the class. Here, to attend is infinitive. He is going to school to attend the class. Here, attend, to attend is infinitive. So what can we see here? The main verb, if we use to before the main verb and it means purpose, it is called infinitive. Are you clear? That is, before the main verbs, if we use to mean purpose, it is called infinitive. I would like to give another example. To swim in the pond. To swim in the pond is very interesting. Very interesting. To swim. Here the verb is swim. It is the present form of the verbs, and I have used to before the verbs. So to swim is infinitive. Have you got the infinitive? Infinitive. What does the function infinitive do in a sentence? We can say that infinitive does the function of purpose. If I ask you, he likes to play. He likes to play football. My dear student, please find out in a sentence what is infinitive. In the sentence, to play is infinitive. Thank you. Let us know something about gerund. 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 Gerund is that form of the verbs which ends in ing. That is, gerund is a form of the verbs that ends in ing, and it has the force. It has the force of a noun and a verb. Gerund is a form of the verb that ends in ing, okay, and it has the form. It is the form of a noun and a verb. That what can we see? In short, if we add ing with the main verb, then we can call it gerund. And gerund is used in a sentence as a verb and a noun. So that's why gerund is called the double parts of speech. Let us cite an example of gerund. I enjoyed painting. I enjoyed painting very much. I enjoyed painting very much. Here, paint is a verb and ing has been added with the verb paint, and it has been painting. Now it is used in a sentence as a gerund. If I give another example, swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is a good exercise. So the main verb the base form of the verb is swim. Okay, and ing has been added with the main verb swim, and it has become swimming. So swimming is used here as a noun, and in another word we can say that swimming is used here as a subject. So since it does the function of a noun, so it is called gerund. Okay, and at the same time gerund is used also as a verb in a sentence. That's why I have told you earlier that gerund is called the double parts of speech. Okay, let us know about participle. Participle. Participle, if we add ing with the main verbs and it does the function of an adjective, it is called participle. If I give an example, the man working in the field, the man working in the field is a farmer. The man working in the field is a farmer. Here the verb work, and I have added ing with the verb work, and it has been working, and it means the situation of the farmer who works in the field. Okay, so I have told you earlier that gerund is used as a noun and verb, and here participle is used as an adjective. So if I ask you, can you tell me the basic difference between gerund and participle? Okay, I would like to clarify it to you. In short, gerund is used as a noun and a verb, and participle is used as an adjective in a sentence. Okay? In your question paper, that is in the use of the right form of verbs, you may have question in the brackets to make the words participle. So I would like to tell something more about participle. Participle is of three types. That is, there are three kinds of participle: present participle, present participle, present participle, past participle, present participle, past participle, and the perfect participle. Perfect participle. Okay? Present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. So let us know about present participle. In short, I'd like to say, if we use ing with the main verbs, and if it is used as an adjective in a sentence, it is used as a participle. Okay, if I add ing with the main verbs, it is used as an adjective in a sentence, it is called present participle. The boy playing in the field is my brother. Is my brother. Okay. Here the playing is used present participle in the sentence. So my dear students, I would like to conclude my class here because you have also another class. But before concluding the class, I would like to give you a homework. That is, you will practice the use of the right form verbs at your home. My dear students, I would like to say that you will stay at your home and never go out. In case of emergency, if you go out, you will use mask and put on hand gloves and maintain social distancing. And let us pray to the Allah so that He can get our beautiful world back suitable for human habitation. Allah Hafiz.